Role-playing video games. Japanese animation. It's a match made in heaven. Or is it? Join us as we take a journey through RPG animes of yesteryear. TV shows, OVAs, movies, titties. We're doing it all. So join us right here, right now, at the Summer RPG Anime Festival.
Hello, we're back, anime people, with more anime, and I'm still here with, well, last time you were Cat Girl Steve. Do you want to be Legend of Hero Steve?
Man, I was just going to settle for being Blue Shirt Steve, but sure, I could be Legend of Hero Steve.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, it rolls off the tongue, I think. All right, this time we are here. Why don't you tell the people, what are we here to watch this time at the festival?
This time we're watching Fire Emblem Mystery of the Emblem. Fire Emblem had an anime? Yeah, guys. A whole well, no, not really. Just 2 episodes released on VHS and Laserdisc in Japan early 1996 and on VHS and dub tape or sub tape. You know how this goes if you're old enough. Mm-hmm. In the US by ADV in 1997 as just plain Fire Emblem, which I think we'll just say here on out.
Yeah, Fire Emblem. Yeah, I knew this one existed. Unlike Dragon Warrior, I did know this was a thing, for sure.
And I'm going to cheat because I saw this before.
Oh, okay.
In my high school's anime club, and that was before anime was cool. So the club was just whichever one of us losers was after school in the room with the TV on the cart.
What else did you guys watch besides Fire Emblem?
Oh, we saw a bunch of things over the 2 years when the guy with all the tapes was there. Empire Hunter D, Evangelion, a lot of other things I'm not remembering offhand.
Okay, cool. All right.
If you said the names of them, I'd probably remember. Did
you watch any? This would be the early 2000s, right? Did you watch any of the hits at the time, like a Azumanga Daioh or like a?
No, not that one.
Love Hina? Did you guys watch Love Hina?
We did not see Love Hina.
Damn. Did you do any of the harem shit? Like,
some Tenchi.
Some Tenchi Muyo, yeah. All right. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to dig into your anime club. Now I guess we could talk about Fire Emblem now.
That's fine. Because we keep dancing around it, but forget Fire Emblem. Yeah, I get Game Boy Advance. Or again, they thought that was a good idea. 2003, let's just call a game Fire Emblem. or Smash Brothers Melee. Oh no, we can't get rid of these characters in time for the American build. Just ship it with those guys in there. This is America's first exposure to the series outside of Japan. Why would they do that?
Why not, I guess?
I mean, this was produced by KSS and Studio Fantasia as a pilot to gauge interest in a further series.
So this was an OAV then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, it might seem counterproductive to our younger fans. I'm assuming we have younger fans. Younger-ish fans. I keep forgetting adults are younger these days. To literally sell audiences a pilot for something that may exist later. But, we did this here too, guys. The biggest joke I keep telling around is Bubsy had a pilot. And you know what? So did Battletoads and a lot of other things. And Deke sold a tape with all those things and other projects jammed in there. Or maybe it wasn't Deke. It could have just been some other opportunistic bastard just shoving all that stuff on a tape and selling. The point being is that we did this here, and Japan had a whole cottage industry built around this sort of business practice there. So this was not uncommon.
Yeah, it did happen. I don't think it didn't happen nearly as much there, though. I do think some stuff was just planned as an OAV, and that's just kind of it. But yeah, this Fire Emblem one does feel like, especially since they're basically 30-minute episodes. Like if you could imagine them with commercials on TV, it would be like, oh, this just fits neatly into this thing. And the plot follows, the 2 episodes follow like 2 episodes of a TV show. So it definitely feels like one. Like if I didn't know any better, I would say that this is like the first 2 episodes of a show.
I'm glad it meets your approval for television.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're glad. I'm happy you're happy. Yeah, let's just get right into this. Obviously, as I'm sure anyone who listens to the show knows, I don't play Fire Emblem. Steve plays all the Fire Emblem. So I'm going to lean heavily on you for this one for references to stuff because I don't know shit from shit. If it ain't Mars, then I don't know about it.
Yeah, we need to get this out of the way.
Go ahead.
The king, who is a character for all of 2 minutes, outside of, just being mentioned offhand in the games, says Marth exactly one time before everyone else switches to Mars for the entire 2-episode run of this in this dub. I guess it could have been worse. I know fan sites were calling him Malth for a minute.
Oh, yeah, I remember Malth. I remember the Malth era.
So names aren't 100% because dubbing isn't 100%. I gotta tell you, the story's right for the people familiar. Medius is an ancient dark dragon who woke up and started exercising his influence on the nation of Delura, who has forces led by Garneth attack Altea where Marth lives. And then Marth and his sister Elise, not Alice, they aren't experienced in war, so Alice sends Marth and his retainer Jagan away via a warp spell and hopes he'll return stronger. Oh no!
So this actually happens in the game, because I know there's a game called Mystery of the Emblem.
Mystery of the Emblem is the Super Nintendo remake it's a remake of the NES game, but it's also the sequel of that game that they do right afterward.
What? So it's like a Star Fox 64 thing where they're just like enhancing what was already there, or
they enhance one for the Super Famicom. And then they do Marth follow-up story time.
Oh, so it's like Marth the After Years.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
But we don't get to see any of that because it's 2 episodes of the first little bit of the first campaign.
I'm kind of surprised how not video gamey this is. Like, Dragon Warrior was obviously extremely video gaming, especially like in its plot and storytelling. Like, they're just doing exactly video game role-playing scenario. This feels like, now I'm not saying they needed to strike an overhead of the castle fight and have units move on a grid. But like, I don't know. I didn't really feel like, I don't know. I guess you can't really inject the video gaminess of Fire Emblem into this anime without it feeling kind of silly, I guess, now that I think about it. It's not like someone can cut someone down and then level up, ding, 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 ding. I mean, I guess you can't just do that.
I mean, it would have been funny, but they hit the story beats, like I said, and they do, well, I'd say they would hit the more dramatic angles that the encounters hit, but you wouldn't really see those until later entries. I mean, they pipe in some of the I would say more familiar, but I wouldn't even have heard those until I actually played the games, because the time I saw this anime was after Smash Brothers, but before Fire Emblem. So
that's
Fire Emblem Game Boy Advance. So,
right.
So I haven't even played a Fire Emblem my first time. So years later, I'm like, hey, I know some of this music here, but it's usually being drowned out by someone shouting or getting killed. There is a lot of appropriate amount of, slashy, stabby, whatever going on here.
Yeah, and also, much like Dragon Warrior, they don't dick around. Like, especially in that opening thing with Mars talking to whoever that guy is, and he's like, oh, do you think we can win? And the guy's like, there's nothing to worry about, my prince. King Cornelius is wielding the divine sword of Falchion, which he used to defeat yada 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 yada. He starts telling him all this shit. It's just like, okay, we're not fucking around. We don't have time to waste. I'm just gonna tell you and the audience everything.
It's kind of a tease. I mean, We already know Marth in Fire Emblem Land as, somebody who's already done the stuff he's done in these games. We like to say that in Fire Emblem Warriors, he's the best. Well, he's overpowered and busted for no real reason.
Yep.
Even in Fire Emblem Heroes, the gacha game, they revere him as this sort of god king who was able to unite the continent and smack around old dragons with the falchion and then deal with the aftermath and mystery of the emblem. Hey, that's the thing this thing's called. So, it's kind of interesting to watch this depiction that's a more human Marth that's supposed to be building up to these things, even though they never make it there in this format. We never even see Marth wield the falchion outside the VHS box. He's doing it right there on the cover.
Oh, is he? Okay, but he doesn't actually do... Well, I guess that's kind of a hero shot you would want for a real series, but this was not a real series, so...
I mean, as you went over, Cornelius has the falchion. He's got it. Don't worry about it. He bites it in about 2 seconds with Gardev.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't that the game that was remade on 3DS, right?
DS.
DS, okay.
It was fine. They dolled it up in ways they probably shouldn't have because DS.
Right. But no, I had the same observation. I only really know Marth as someone who doesn't play Fire Emblem as this mythical Jesus-like figure. Basically, like, you know how busted he is in Fire Emblem Warriors? He's ridiculous. He's one of the most busted Warriors characters of all time.
I mean, and even if I'm saying this as if he's a real person, but, even Marth himself is all like, look, I don't know what you people are all talking about. So, because that's the other conceit of this. Marth is supposed to somehow build an army of his own to take back everything he's supposed to do. That is the goal of this thing, and that is what he's supposed to do. So that they get that element of that right, which makes the whole Jesus part of it weird, as you say.
Yeah, because that's all I really... Oh God, doesn't he do some weird Jesus shit in what is it? The SMT crossover.
Oh, at the very end.
Yeah. What is that game called? Fuck. Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
He just shows
Jesus
up.
Christ. I don't know why I was blanking up. Yeah, in Tokyo Mirage Sessions, he just shows up and it's just like, okay, what is happening?
Just solves everything at the end.
Yeah. So that's the Marth I know, right? This Marth who's just kind of unsure of himself and the king just slaps him to the ground real quick, and that's like the only time you see him, and he's just like this wimp and very sensitive, right? Which is fine, but I don't think Marth is a very interesting character. So like this first episode where we're just following his arc from like wimpy teenager to like getting more bold is not particularly interesting to me. Like, he's just not an interesting person. Because he's not made to be interesting. He's Marth, the God King. So that means that the first episode was kind of whatever to me. The second episode was a lot more palatable because there was a lot less Marth.
Well, it also helps that they centered a good chunk of it around fan favorite Navarre, who just stabs a lot of brigands to death.
Yep. Oh, the red hair, the swordsman guy.
He wears the red, and he just like, I changed my mind.
Yeah,
again. Like anime dub is fucked. Line reads.
Oh, the dub here. The dub here is great. But
Mars.
I think it is weird. Again, going back to the Mars thing, why did they say it right one time? Like, AD Vision was usually better about that. Like, I don't know.
They probably thought that was wrong.
I don't know, though. We did watch, a few years ago, Samurai Showdown, and they did turn Amaxa into a woman for some reason. So that did happen, if you remember.
Oh, I remember.
Okay, so I mean, the less we say about that, the better, I guess. But and I've mentioned this several times, but it bears repeating. One thing I find really funny about these RPG anime so far is how dedicated they are to the nuts and bolts of the game scenario framework. Because, like, at the end of the first episode, the king is like, Marth, you need to travel and get stronger and find lots of allies to aid you in your quest. And, like, he's setting him off from literally the starting village in a real game. And it's just, like, telling him all that stuff. Like, Dragon Warrior does it too. But it's especially funny in Fire Emblem, to me. I don't know. It's especially, this is a lot less video gamey, right? But he's still doing that.
Well, we need exposition for everyone at home that might have not played a Fire Emblem, like all of the United States, even though it says right on the box based on the hit video game.
It does. We didn't even have the hit video game.
I know that.
Why would it say that?
It was a hit video game somewhere.
I mean, I don't know if this is the right time to ask this, but why did they think this anime might do it for us over here? Dragon Warrior, I understand a lot more. And other stuff we're going to talk about later, I understand a lot more as well. Would Nintendo have really given us one of those late SNES Fire Emblems if this did catch on? Because I don't think they would have. Would they have felt would we have lived in a world where they would have felt pressured to complete Fire Emblem 64, for instance, if it had? Because I can't imagine that being the case, Steve.
There is no fucking way. As we keep going over in our Super Mario Brothers movie shows, Nintendo wasn't terribly involved in these extracurricular projects at the time beyond, oh, you want to make a thing? Here, pay us the licensing fee. Okay, fine, whatever. So I am sure whatever happened here was something akin to ADV licensed this from the production studios in a package with however many other content-y things for them to dub or sub, which may or may not have included the next thing we're going to do. And I am sure that's pretty much what happened there, and they did their best to make it work. Nintendo similarly washed their hands of all this after the Japanese sales of tapes and laser discs didn't do anything either, which, you'll definitely need to watch the borrowed version online because there's no DVD of this. I didn't bring up the DVD version up front for a reason. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think this was only strictly VHS tape at the time. What's funny is that I don't really remember this tape in those ADV catalogs that I read so religiously. I remember just about everything else. I don't remember this one. I mean, it was probably in there, but it just didn't appeal to me, so I don't remember it.
I only saw it in that guy that had it at the anime club. I never actually saw it anywhere else, like in the store or anything.
Did you guys have Suncoast stores? No.
I know what it is, but we didn't have any.
You didn't have Suncoast? Yeah. That was very good for anime as well, besides the Tower Records. You know what I did like? I think it's at the beginning of it's either at the end. No, it's at the end of the first episode where it's solved by doing the classic anime, two guys run at each other and then slash. And then one falls down or one bleeds or something. Love that shit. That will always work on me. Do we still do that? I don't think we do that anymore.
Not as often as we used to, but you do it right. That works for me too.
Yeah. Where did you first get exposed to that? Because for me, it was Ninja Gaiden. For sure, the intro.
Oh. Man, that sounds about right for me too.
Yeah, because that's the first time I saw that shit. Me and my cousin thought that was the coolest shit we had ever seen. Holy crap. Anyway, I think here's what I want to ask you now. A lot of these animes that we're going to talk about in this miniseries, they're going to basically boil down to one thing. If you like the game, you'll probably like the anime. It's like I said about Dragon Warrior last time. If you like the games, you will enjoy the shit out of this anime. I don't play Fire Emblem, so I didn't necessarily like this. I didn't hate it by any means. I didn't think it was bad, but it just doesn't appeal to me. Steve, now watching this as someone who has played a lot of Fire Emblem versus at the time where you played Zero, is this more appealing now? than it was back then. Could you say the same thing? If you like Fire Emblem, should you watch this?
It's funny that you say you didn't have a strong opinion one way or the other because, like I said, I watched this in the anime club, and this was a time of limited budget and no streaming. So anytime I got to see anime stabbings and slashings and other violences was almost guaranteed to be a good time or a fine time. Now, I wasn't having fine times in high school, so, good times. And that was that for me back then before I really properly knew what a Fire Emblem was. And now that I do know what a Fire Emblem is now, I'd say it even was now. I mean, there's even that detail at the end where she is like going right up to Navarre and saying, "Hey, stop stabbing that guy. Fight for our army." Like in the game, I'm like, man, they're really trying to make this Fire Emblem me.
Yeah, the character designs were very on point because, I mean, that sounds like a dumb thing to say, but as we well know, sometimes that stuff doesn't just translate to anime like perfectly. Like sometimes it's just not right. This really looked the part. Everyone looked the part.
Maybe today, if they really sat down, they can try this sort of thing again with a different Fire Emblem game, given how different chapters are fairly episodic in nature themselves, but it's probably better off just as a thought experiment, really. This is still worth watching if you're a Fire Emblem person, though, I would think.
Yeah, it's a definite curiosity. I I did like some of the credits. Two things made me laugh. One of them was early on in the credits, it said, original creator, Nintendo Game Soft, Fire Emblem, Secret of Crest. Secret of Crest?
I guess someone got their thesaurus out and their Japanese tourist book or something to turn Mystery of Emblem into Secret of Crest.
And that's the reason why you don't translate shit directly. That's why you localize it, folks, despite what the idiots will tell you online. Also, in the credits, I noticed at the end it said special thanks to Casey Lowe and Game Fan Magazine, which struck me because, as you probably know, Steve, I loved Game Fan Magazine. That was my absolute favorite magazine growing up. And yes, they covered anime in Game Fan. And I don't know if that's the reason why I started buying anime. Maybe it is. Maybe they covered the Samurai Shodown anime in Game Fan, and I decided, I would like to watch a cartoon movie of Samurai Shodown, and that's like the first anime I ever bought. But I think maybe they were like, I don't know, they're in cahoots with each other somehow. They were like really bigging up their releases. Hey, there's this company, AD Vision, that's bringing the real Japanese shit here. Go buy them. I don't remember. It's been a long time, obviously, but
there was some light cahoots, if we want to call it that, with a bunch of the game magazines. Even Electronic Gaming Monthly had those last few pages with the mini anime manga catalogs in the back for a very long time.
What's pretty interesting now that we think about it is like how intertwined the gaming hobby and like anime were from like the beginning. I know now people think that's like maybe more of a recent thing because it's only gotten more and more so, but that obviously it's been the case since the 90s. It's always been a cross appeal.
Probably has to do with everything coming from Japan for a long time.
Yeah.
Console manufacturers and all that. I mean, everyone's like to say, everyone keeps sweeping it up. And then every time everyone says something like that, I'm like, what the fuck are you all talking about? Everything's been coming from Japan this whole fucking time.
Yeah, but back then it was like more novel, I guess, more outside. Well, anime definitely was not mainstream by any means, obviously. So that would take several years for that to happen.
No, I mean, I'm just saying in general, like, you fucking weeb. I'm like, okay, but I'm also playing games on something called the Super Nintendo. That's not something they make here in America.
Yeah, but Nintendo may as well not, at that point, may as well not even be a Japanese word anymore. It was so genericized, practically. Yeah. So I don't know.
I guess I do have that rotted brain.
Do you think that Nintendo should have tried here with Fire Emblem on Super Nintendo? Because I feel like they could have made it at least a minor success. I mean, if you think about it, at this time, Nintendo was even publishing stuff like Illusion of Gaia because Enix didn't want to, right? And they marketed the shit out of that game, if you remember. Like, I don't see why they couldn't have brought a Fire Emblem here and like made it, hey, kids, you tired of the old, put down that Mario and that Kirby, child, play this hot new Fire Emblem video game for teenagers.
It's always interesting to look back and say, yeah, they probably should have, especially on Super Nintendo, but yeah, maybe, probably, possible.
I think it could have worked. I think it could have given them more. Maybe it wouldn't have been like a huge success, but I think they could have made more inroads quicker for Fire Emblem before Game Boy fucking Advance.
I mean, we probably would have gotten this one, and then they would have skipped those other ones because they came out very, very late and past our Super Nintendo life cycle.
Yep.
For the most part. It's interesting to think about.
Yeah, I just wonder how they, because as you well know, we know the Super Nintendo marketing muscle back then, plus 90s extreme advertisements. You better buy this Fire Emblem or else that means you wear your sister's panties or whatever the fuck they would write in those ads back then, right? Like,
You're reminding me how apparently the story inside was Final Fantasy V was going to be here as Final Fantasy Extreme for a minute.
I do remember that.
'Cause it's hard.
Yeah, sure. It's hard, all right. All right, I think I'm Fire Emblemed out unless you got anything else for me.
I mean, I'm never really Fire Emblemed out because I'm a hopeless addict, but in this particular case, I think we're about finished.
Okay, what are we watching next time at the festival, Steve?
Something called Princess Minerva? Oh, I didn't realize we were having more Fire Emblem characters in the... Oh, wait a minute. That's not what's going on at all, is it?
No, it isn't. See you next time.